and welcome to a rainy afternoon on the allotment. It's Sunday the 12th, it's the afternoon, it's about 3 o'clock. Just come down to put some kohlrabi in the bath so you can see them over my shoulder there, and the heavens opened up. So there's not a lot I can do at the moment. I've just swept up the greenhouse, as you can see behind me. I've brought some onions in, they were the overwintering onions, just to dry off a little bit. Done quite a bit of weeding this last couple of days, and I was going to show you a bed with the weeds and a bed that's been done, just so you can see the comparison. And it took me all day yesterday just to weed a couple of beds. They were carpeted with docks and thistles, just gone mad over the last week. So I'm going to have 5 minutes, and then if the weather picks up, I'll give you a little tour around. Okay, catch you later. Well, it's still raining, so we might as well have a look at the tomato plants while we wait for it to stop. I've got 12 potted up in the large greenhouse, and here they are. They're not in their final position yet. They're to one side of the greenhouse because I've still got the onions drying on the other side, on the bench. And I've just put in 3-foot stakes provisionally at the moment, because I'm going to need to move these at some stage when I clean the inside of the glazing and the outside, and they'll just fall over otherwise. In fact, they were getting ready to fall over. I only put the stakes in yesterday, but they're quite robust to the stems. You can see they're quite thick. You see the stem there is a little bit thicker than the cane, so they're strong plants. But haven't they grown? I don't know if you remember, I think it was 2 weeks ago today, I showed you 2 being potted on, and they were the 2 at the back there, those 2 at the back. And when I potted them on, they were about 9 inch high. 2 weeks later, they were quite easily 2 foot high, maybe a little bit more. But they are strong plants. Again, as you can see, very, very thick and chunky stems. Now I've side shooted the tomato plants. I did that yesterday. It was the first time that I'd done it, and they were growing quite vigorously, and there were lots of them. As you know, you've got to take those out, and then energy shoots up the plant then and promotes its growth rather than supporting the growth of the suckers. I took all the side shoots out with the exception of the one here in the back corner, and just to show you how vigorous they were, you can see one there right in the middle, and that's growing in the leaf axial, and that's the 90-degree sort of elbow between the leaf and the stem, and the sucker grows up there. You can see one next to it on the right as well, that's shown a little bit better. Best time to remove them is in the morning. They're nice and crisp then, they break off quite easily with your thumb and your index finger. Leave it a little bit later and they get a little bit rubbery, and they can break off and leave like a strip of skin which can tear down the stem, so it's best done in the morning. Most of the tomato plants have got the first truss opening up now. There's one there. That's a beefsteak as well. They're all beefsteaks, in fact. And the flowers tend to be a little bit bigger, as you can see there. So it's 2 weeks since these were potted on, and they're looking nice and healthy. The ones in the other greenhouse are just the same. They've been tied in for the first time as well, and growing quite quickly now. You can see outside I moved the potatoes that were in pots. I've emptied all of those now. And the pots there that are sat on the planks, they are filled with the compost that came out of the pots when I did the reveals, and I've stuck a couple of seed potatoes in each pot, so if they don't get hammered by blight, we should get some more new potatoes in a couple of months, 10 weeks from those pots. But I took them away from the side of the greenhouse because I didn't want them to shade the tomato plants, make the tomato plants leggy. And I've done the same with the other greenhouse as well. So that's my tomatoes. Still raining, surprise surprise, but I've dared to venture outside just to show you the potatoes that I've still got in pots. They're the Sarpomera, and that's the greenhouse at the side, and you can see they're standing about 3 foot high. That's 3 foot on top of the pots, all looking healthy, and that's after 3 months of growing, and they've still got another 3 months to go. If I just turn you around quickly, and you'll see they're the potatoes, the first earlies and second earlies that I planted around about the end of March, and they're shooting up as well with this weather that we've had in the last week, and they're 2 foot high as well. And I think we've got 2 rows of Pentland Javelin, 2 rows of Nicola and 2 rows of Charlotte, and the Charlotte seem to be a little bit higher. As you can see, they were all planted at the same time, but they're all looking well and healthy. But I've had a few Smith alerts, a few blight alerts on my phone, because you can register to get an alert if the temperature and humidity is in the right sort of zone for blight. We've had a few this last couple of days, so we'll see how they fare. But they'll only be another month before they're ready anyway, some of them. So they're the potatoes. Quick look at the lagoon bed. Weather got the better of the peas last night. It rained quite heavily and it's taken the Kelvin and Wonder over, so I brought some more pea sticks down to try and reinforce them. Monch 2 here at the side, they were patchy in germination, but we should still get some off them. Just move down quickly. The dwarf French beans, you remember I cast a broad drill, they're coming on nicely. The drill is about 15 inch wide at the minute, but when they're fully grown they'll stand about 2 foot high, and that strip there will be about 3 foot wide with bean plants, so I'm hoping for a bumper crop off those. And I don't know if you can see through the cloche, that's the second row of peas that I sowed. Again, a broad drill, put loads in, so hopeful. Given the state of them, they look very, very healthy, very vigorous, hoping that we'll get a nice crop off those as well. Leeks have gone in. I think we've got 6 rows, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. About 16 in a row, so we should have enough to keep us going through the winter and into the spring. The parsnips and the onions. This is a bed that I weeded yesterday, and you can see it's nice and clean now. We did it all by hand. It was carpeted with dock leaves. And then I get it a quick hoe off. But I've got 6 rows of parsnips, 2 rows of Albion, 2 rows of Gladiator and 2 rows of White Gem, and they're coming on nicely. Onions look healthy too. I have spotted a couple of seed heads, but they're only 1 or 2, and hopefully it'll stay that way. Take a quick look at the other bed and you can see how the weeds are coming. Now these Brussels sprouts were put in probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. The soil was turned and cleaned, so it's not too bad. But if you look a little bit further down, this is yet to be weeded. I'd planned to do these beds this afternoon. Look at the state of the pathway between. About 8 inch high in thistles, dock leaves, you name it, it's in there. And the same at the bottom there. It's a disgrace. I don't think they've ever been this bad, but I was so occupied with watering last week after work that I didn't get a chance to make a start. But that's what the bed with the parsnips was like yesterday, and that's what it looks like now, so it was worth the effort. The climbing beans, they're growing apace as well, so everything's really growing well. Comfrey's doing really well, in flower. I need to cut that back, and you can see I've done a little bit of work on the new allotment that I acquired. I've cut the grass and edged some of it, lifted the turf around the edge. I've also got some slabs. I bought these on Gumtree. They were £25 and there's 80 slabs. 33 square ones, which are about 40 centimetres by 40 centimetres, and then 47 half slabs, and they were just perfect in amount. I didn't want to go overboard, but I've got a nice patio area, deep enough to get a nice seat on and a couple of pots maybe with olive trees in or something like that, or orange trees, who knows. And another day this week, for £20 I picked up a pub table as well, and I've put a few marigolds down the side to make it homely. So I'm hoping to spend many an evening sat at that table, maybe with a bottle of beer or a bottle of cider. So we've made a start, still a lot to do, raised beds to put in and a few weed trees like that. That's an elderberry, that's to come out, but I've made a start, so it's starting to take on shape. So that was just a quick update for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.